So excited to be here. I'm Dr. Teresa Vasquez, but you can call me Dr. T. And I have been an educator for about 13 years and a software engineer for about 22. I started when I was 2. Currently, I'm the tech lead at Go Noodle and senior front-end instructor at Nashville Software School. And today I have here with me junior instructor and recent bootcamp grad, Trinity Christiana.
Hi, I am Trinity Christiana. I have been an educator and a software engineer for a year. I currently am a software engineer at Eventbrite and a junior instructor at Nashville Software School.
Now, our goal as both engineers and educators is to encourage diversity by holding the tech community accountable for meeting the needs of those new to the engineering field, especially those who historically have been underrepresented in the industry. Alvin Tolliver said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So how do we as mentors and engineers find success in helping those new to software engineering learn, unlearn, and relearn?
Well, in the next few minutes, we want to start the conversation about strategies and our approach that help us to lower the barrier to entry when teaching new things, such as APIs for students in a bootcamp setting.
Let's go! So exciting. Our approach to introducing tools and technologies to students in a fast-paced bootcamp is interdependent on the makeup of our students. So let us briefly tell you about our learning environment. With up to 30 students in a part-time program, we want to ensure that each student gets individualized attention, and we use a technique called scaffolding, which allows us to meet the students where they are and help them build confidence in what they're learning. And it also gives them a safe place to feel vulnerable with others who learn at the same pace as they do. The first type of student we partner with has not yet achieved the professional goals that they plan for and want to change. Usually these students start out excited, but also a little bit apprehensive because they are hoping that this will be the thing that will bring them success. However, they've also come fully engaged, and while apprehensive at first, usually these students soar much quickly because they begin to trust the process.
And the second type we will identify have achieved success professionally, but are looking for a change. They spend a large amount of time in the first part of the bootcamp questioning why they did this. And they hope that they did not make a mistake, since in the beginning, they're bombarded with failure and are not accustomed to it. The value that they bring is that they have failed and succeeded before, so they know that if they stick with it, that they can pull through.
And the last type we usually have is a combination of the two types, but with less care about the risks of failure. They are tech collectors, and they want to learn more technologies rather than digging in deeply and building stronger skills in the foundational stuff at first. Mm-hmm. A benefit to this student is that they love to fail fast. They will take anything you throw at them, crash and burn, lick their wounds, and come back for more. They thrive on the thrill of failing and learning from their failures. Notice, however, that none of these categories have anything to do with being smart or skilled at programming or coding. Like computers, student RAM is one of the most important components in learning their needs and performance. As RAM gives applications a place to store and access data on a short-term basis and stores the information your computer is actively using so that it can be accessed quickly, students' ability to comprehend and synthesize information also determines how far you can push them at one time. When we teach APIs, we know where the students are and how much they can learn in a sitting in order to make scaffolding effective. We have to know those things. Most of our students have never programmed or coded before. So we have to learn not only what type of student they are, but at what processing speed, or RAM, they comprehend in order to give a given topic or tool that we introduce to them impactful. So if you're a student, you should never feel discouraged that on a specific topic, you may be running on 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can always upgrade as you get more comfortable. And as an educator, you have to be in tune with your students to know how much you can give them and at what time.
So with this knowledge of our students, we know that introducing them to something as abstract as APIs can be a little challenging and intimidating at first. So we employ a 5-step strategy that helps them along the way. We will be sharing these steps along with how we approach getting these new engineers working with APIs and how Postman has allowed us to go deeper in meeting their needs and understanding while also giving them the room to explore and gain confidence. So step 1 is to generate short-term wins. Step 2 is to put the right students in the right place at the right time. Step 3 is to enable their desire to learn by removing barriers. Step 4 is to encourage side learning. And then lastly, step 5 is to make change their new normal.
One important thing to note is that we are guiding our students through learning how to learn, not how to code. Our environment is set up as a senior engineer with junior engineer working relationship so that we mimic the real world environment in order to prepare them for their first dev jobs, which is so exciting. We work with students for 6 months on front-end engineering for about 12 hours per week with a little outside help and GitHub discussions. This is an important distinction because regardless of the tools we introduce, we want them to feel encouraged to go deeper into concepts independently and grow at a pace that is beneficial to their own success. And we need tools that will allow us to do that. Postman is a tool that we use for APIs because of its simplicity for beginners and also because it can grow with the students as their proficiency and confidence with working with APIs increases. When we first introduce students to the concept of APIs, it is important that they get up and running quickly. We have a repo that we created with several API projects that has Postman integrated into the lesson. When we show them how Postman works for the first time using a simple GET request, we're careful to keep it quick and easy so that the power of the tool does not overshadow the short-term goals we have for them. Then we have them run through an example themselves utilizing the repo we've created for them. All they have to do is download the Postman application, import the collection, and send a request to see the shape of the response before they start to code. We have to trust that the steps we have created will get them exactly where they need to be quickly, and Postman allows us to do that. Because we build trust early on, they're more inclined to go out and learn more about the tool or Postman on their own, which allows them to take ownership of their own learning. Through scaffolding, based on the student's progress in the APIs repo, we're able to leverage how we can code using APIs through small sessions on how we can create a module of requests using Postman collections, reuse requests using Postman variables and environments, and finally run all the requests in a single method based off of individual requests using Postman's collection runners. Postman has so many more features than just being able to make simple calls to an API. And for this reason, this tool allows us to scaffold the learning based on the student's learning progress, types, desires, and RAM. We break out into small sessions to teach some interested students cool things that Postman can do, like creating collections, documentation, and environmental variables. This not only allows us to push the students that caught on really quickly, but also allow other students that need a little bit more time to get comfortable with Postman to do so in another session with an instructor without leaving the students that learn at a faster pace unchallenged. Postman allows us to abstract these new ideas based on the students' comfort with the concepts so that when we get into the code, they're more prepared to execute and are ready for the discussions on asynchronous programming with promises.
Using Postman really allows us to decouple the students' learning of APIs from building applications. This allows them to focus on making requests without having to spin up an application, making sure that the right things are connected, or even knowing what a promise is. All they need to do to get prepared for our API lesson is to have Postman up and running. So a student's side hustle should be learning. So we were so excited to learn about the Student Expert Program, which reinforced a lot of the things we were teaching in class and also gave the students a badge that showed them that their hard work and effort could be recognized. The Postman Student Expert Program has helped us to solidify the confidence the students desire when working with the tool, and has shown that our commitment to ensuring the tools we share with them are relevant and rigorous are not just words.
We not only show the students that Postman is great for learning about the concepts of APIs, but we also show them that they would use it, how they would use the tool when they're building their own web applications using Postman, Firebase, or Supabase for front-end development. Before they even start planning to build an application with an API, we ask them to make sure that they can make all the necessary calls using Postman. We do this not only to have them get more comfortable with the tool, but also to make sure that they can access what they need for their application before they start building. We also use Postman for debugging. So when a student has an issue around an API call, we have them copy and paste their endpoint along with the body, if it needs it, into Postman to check to see if they're still getting the same error. If they are still getting the same error, then we know that there's something wrong with the body or the endpoint, and the student can test it in Postman before updating their code. But if they aren't getting the same error, then we know it's actually their code, which is the problem. This goes back to being able to decouple the API and application issues while also debugging, which can really speed up the development process. As an educator, it is so wonderful to have a tool that we can send students to explore and use without worry or concern. We build it into the fabric of our classes because we know Postman or a similar tool is exactly what they'll be using when they get out into the field, and they should make leveraging these tools a part of their new normal.
We wanted to thank Postman in May for asking and allowing us to share how we use Postman to introduce APIs to new engineers and for coming to our class to share their knowledge with us.
We hope that we've shared some ideas that you find beneficial to both educators and students and will help you get comfortable building your applications with APIs. Again, I'm Dr. T.
And I'm Trinity Christiana.
And we want to encourage you to embrace your mission.
Because you are the hero that you've been looking for.
Go get it done. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks for this amazing session, Dr. T and Trinity. I'm already feeling energized after this session. I hope I could have joined somehow you as an educator. And with that, we already have a question about in our chat, how someone can join your training program.
Well, we're at Nashville Software School. We're fully remote right now, so I guess anybody can join from anywhere. But the bootcamp experience is different. It's different than the university experience in some ways because we only have a small amount of time to get through as much as we can for front-end development and engineering. And because data, I feel like, is central to building really good front ends and architecting really good front ends, it's really, really, really important that we have a tool that we can use and leverage with the students. So we enjoy using Postman.
Yes.
That went beyond what that question was, but.
Yeah, and we are glad to have you as part of our classroom and different student programs. And we are really glad to have you using them really out in the world. Yeah, Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.